Forgiveness, it's a word we hear often, yet how many of us truly understand its power? We carry wounds, scars, and burdens that seem impossible to let go. They chain us to moments we long to forget, but we can't. So we ask ourselves, what if forgiveness is the key? Not just for others, but for ourselves. Can it be that forgiveness is not merely an act of kindness, but the doorway to freedom? Think for a moment about the times you've been hurt. Perhaps it was a betrayal from someone you trusted and loved. Maybe it was harsh words spoken in a moment of anger or actions that cut you deeply. We live in a broken world, and because of that, we carry the weight of broken relationships, shattered expectations, and that deep desire for justice. It's natural to want to hold on to that hurt, to nurse our wounds, to build walls around ourselves so that we might never feel that pain again. But here's the truth. Unforgiveness doesn't protect us, it imprisons us. Every grudge, every resentment, it's like a weight that holds us down. It binds us to the very pain that we're trying to escape. In fact, C.S. Lewis once said, quote, "To be a Christian means to forgive the inexcusable because God has forgiven the inexcusable in you," end quote. What Lewis reminds us is that the act of forgiveness isn't for the other person, it's for us. It's a choice to break the chains that hold us to the past. But let's be honest, forgiving others can feel impossible. There's something in us that demands justice, that wants to see the offender pay for what they've done. And forgiveness feels like we're letting them off the hook. But here's a truth we must confront. Forgiveness isn't excusing the wrongdoing. It doesn't mean we're allowing it or saying it's okay. Rather, forgiveness is releasing our need for revenge and trusting that justice, true justice, belongs to God. You see, when we forgive, we aren't saying what you did doesn't matter. We're saying, I refuse to let your actions control me any longer. In the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus tells Peter that we must forgive 70 times, 7 times. Not because people deserve it, but because we need it. We need to be free. Forgiveness is about releasing the offender from our hearts so that we can heal. But there's another dimension to this. Forgiving ourselves. Often the hardest person to forgive isn't someone else, but the one we see in the mirror. Maybe it's a past mistake, a regret that haunts you, a choice that changed the trajectory of your life. Guilt, the shame, it weighs on us like an anchor and we can't move forward because we haven't let ourselves off the hook. But why? Why are we so hard on ourselves? For some, it's because we believe we deserve to suffer. We think we need to carry the guilt as some form of penance. But look, I'm here to tell you, Jesus did not die so we could remain imprisoned by our own self-condemnation. His grace is sufficient. His love is enough. In the words of Brennan Manning, define yourself radically as one beloved by God. This is the true self. Every other identity is an illusion. Manning's reminder is very clear. We are loved despite our flaws, despite our failures. If God himself forgives us, how can we continue to hold ourselves hostage? So how do we forgive others and ourselves? It's one thing to understand it in theory, but how do we actually live it out? First, we have to start with a choice. Forgiveness is not a feeling, it's a decision. You may not feel like forgiving, but that doesn't mean you can't choose to forgive. Second, we need to ask for help. We were never meant to carry these burdens alone, whether through prayer, talking with a trusted friend, or even seeking professional guidance. We need others to walk this journey with us. And third, we need to remember that forgiveness is a process. It's not a one-time event. Just like healing from a physical wound, emotional wounds take time. We may need to forgive over and over, each time choosing to let go a little bit more. That's okay. Progress is still being made. When we forgive, we experience a kind of freedom that words really can't capture. It's a release, a lightness, a renewal of our souls. We're no longer tied to the hurt, the pain, the bitterness. But even more, when we forgive, we reflect God's heart. We become conduits of his grace. We learn that love, real unconditional love, is stronger than any offense. Imagine a world where forgiveness was the norm instead of the exception, where families, friends, and even nations could release their grudges and offer grace. Imagine the peace, the unity, the healing that could unfold. Forgiveness is not easy. It's a journey that requires humility, strength, and willingness to trust in something far greater than ourselves. But it's a journey worth taking. It's the key to unlocking the freedom your soul longs for. So today I challenge you. What are you holding on to? What do you need to forgive? And perhaps most importantly, can you forgive yourself? Remember, you don't walk this road alone. Grace meets you where you're at. Freedom is waiting. Forgive and be free. Forgiveness, the key to freedom. Choose grace. Choose love. Choose freedom. Thanks so much for watching. As always, I'm Adam Wilbur. This is Faith Labs. If you got something from this video, we would love a subscribe, hit the notification bell, and if you feel like this might touch someone else's heart, share it with your network. God bless you. Until next time, my friends, onward.